So it seems that the majority of people are interested in actions to take during the crisis.
Okay.
So please, Peter, start.
Hello, everybody. I want to thank JCI St-Petersburg for having my stage here for you. Webinar straight away from Belgium. Good. You have chosen the first crisis actions. Okay. I'll tell you, my business, my gym is closed since 13th of March. Government decided to close all businesses like mine the 13th of March. So that means actually over 2 weeks I have no business anymore. Okay. Don'ts a building, then closing your business is like worst case scenario. And a lot of emotions are now going through your head if this is your case in this moment. Let me show you what I did and how I actually in 2 weeks I made my offline and online opportunity. But what did I do to have that? Well, first, and if you have something to write down, you can write it down because you can hang it in your wall to remember for yourself. First, focus on facts, not feelings. So if you have uh, a lot of feelings like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And you have fear and will I survive next month? These are feelings. Fact is, the government decides that your business have to close. You have no regular income anymore. Maybe there is some fee that will help you, but there is the normal way of doing business right now, that's over. And people will not come into your business anymore because they are not allowed, because you're not allowed to be open. So don't try to be smarter than the government because police will shut you down anyway and give you a fine. So don't be attempting to revolt. The fact is, it is closed by government, that's it. Secondly, if you are more focused and out of your feelings, make a list. Make a list of what you can do and what you can't do. For example, if you have a restaurant, maybe there's a possibility of making deliveries. Maybe you can still sell shoes at home. You communicate online, but you can deliver at home. Or you create an online shop or online services. These are facts, not feelings. Third, of all the things, of all the actions that are on your list that you still can do, decides right now where you will focus on. You cannot do everything at the same time. So decide what action you will do first. Prioritize 1, 2, 3. If there are like things that you have to learn, for example, maybe you want to do an online service now by doing webinars, learn to do webinars, learn to set the setting, learn to play with light, with microphone, see what works. As you can see, I learned recently how to make a background for Zoom. So these are fundamental steps. If you don't have the time or you feel like too left-handed, don't worry, just hire somebody. That's also possible. Okay? And the fourth and the last advice is take action. Don't go back in feelings. Maybe it's tempting that people around you are also like, oh, what's going to happen? And maybe you read the news, maybe you read Facebook groups or other kind of social media. Don't do that. Okay? Just take actions on what you decided and don't stop till you achieved it. Don't tell you, for example, in my case, you delivered an online personal training possibility or a 4-week challenge or a webinar course. Till you have that product ready. Don't stop. So these are my 4 advices for tackling right now if you're in a crisis situation, because that will help you to move on and maybe transfer, like I did, an extra business online. Because at the end, this crisis will finish. There's also a fact. When? We don't know. But if you're lucky, you have maybe two businesses instead of one. So this is something that you can positively look forward to. So I repeat, one, focus on facts, not feelings. Two, make a list of what you can do and you can't do. Three, decide on what you take action right now. If you have to learn, learn. If you have to hire, hire. Four, take action and don't stop. Voilà. That's what I can advise you right now. It worked for me very well, so I hope it works for you too.
Thank you, Peter. That's great.
Hello, Peter. My name is Evgeny. I'm in JCI St-Petersburg too. Do you hear me?
Yes, yes, but are the questions already now or it's for after, Anastasia?
It's up to you. Could you tell us, please, when we can ask you a question during your presentation or after?
We have decided to make it in the last part, Evgeny.
I'm sorry because I was too late. Sorry. Okay.
No
Don't
problem.
worry.
You can write them as well in the chat box, and we will make them later on. The speaker.
Okay. Thank you, Anastasia.
Okay, and I think, Anastasia, we can go now to the offline online story.
Sure, Peter, you can start. Yes.
Okay. So now I will tell you my story. How actually I started with an offline gym business to an online business. Well, first, I hope you have something to write because I will give you some giveaway tips that will come into my story, but are also very handy tips that you can always refer to when you are transforming your business. Okay? First, self-confidence. Second, invest in yourself. Three, start now. Four, think disaster scenario. And five, be mobile. These are the five giveaways that you always can use when you're transforming offline to online. And you will see them also in my story. So my name is Peter Van De Velde. I'm from the Flemish side in Belgium. We have actually two parts. Top north is Flemish. Looks like they're talking like Dutch. Looks also a bit like German. So if I say goedemiddag, means good afternoon. That's in my language. Then then you have Wallonia, and they're speaking French. So this is actually where I'm coming from. I was living in Brussels, joining the JCI Brussels chapter, and I'm still a member of them. And till 2015, I was a very active JCI member, and I was going for my career as international business developer. I studied history and law, but I got hit by sales. I liked the doing sales. I liked the fencing. I liked the marketing. I enjoyed it very much. And I thought I love also the international scene. Why cannot combine both? So that's why I was into international business development in Brussels. And during several jobs I did, I saw an immense potential in the online, in the IT. And so when I was in 2015 I was working for a software company called Nixis, and they were doing customer service software. That means actually if you call, for example, your gas business, you will end up with somebody on the other line will help you, and that software that was I was selling. 2015 was also where its story started. I was in Brussels, everything was okay, and then suddenly I got a call of my home. My home was a little village, uh, very like 3,000, 4,000 people, and I got a call, and the call was that my mom was ill. you have to know that my father died in 2015 of alcohol abuse. And so the only one who was left was my mom. And she was having a small gym and a physiology practice. So she was holding us up alone. And I got a call, and she was ill. And doctors said that she had cancer. Okay, that's that's like a personal corona situation. Like, oh my God, my lost parents, what will happen? But at that moment, I had also a brother and sister, and they were busy. My brother was in the army. My sister was giving classes Pilates, but she didn't want to take over the business temporarily. So I came back from Brussels. I left my family there, and uh, they put actually my mom directly in stop. She had to go to rest and get through the whole chemo situation. And I took over the business at that moment. I had no experience, only when I was small, signing little cards. So I did this, and then I also realized that my mom was not going to survive this because I called the intern or the doctors, and they said 1 year and a half. So I knew that this will end very badly. So I was actually looking for somebody to take over the business because my career was somewhere else. That was in my mind. Was not planning to come back to that village. I want to live in the city. But in February 2016, my brother, my sister, and my mom decided to close the business. And while I was there already for a couple of months, I realized that there was potential. And we were also the only biggest gym in town or in the village. And that means that there was nobody else. So if we close, a lot of people would not be able to go to the gym. So I made a business plan and I took over the gym on the 1st of March 2016. And you have to know that that situation was a big change. Why? Because you have to understand. Let's say that you come to a gym, and my gym is a house. It's very strange. It's not like the modern gym or chain, but you have to first press the button, then the bell, the buzzer goes, and then somebody opens the door and says, "Hello, welcome," and you can go to the gym. That was the situation. See? Also, they had paper cards where you have to sign one time every time you came. So you can imagine how labor intense this was. It was a lot of time. My mom was actually, as a physio, was massaging people. And on the other hand, the buzzer rang, she had to stop, go, open the door, and go back to the client or the patient. So it was like, yeah, very, very old fashioned. So I took over. The first thing I did was actually changing cards into emoluments because if it's sunshine, nobody comes. If it's rain, more people come. So, but you're always in fluctuating. And so your income is always depending on the weather or if somebody's on holiday. So you cannot, if you build a business, you cannot have that. You have to have revenue that comes regularly inside because then you can build, then you can invest, then you can have an investment. So the first thing when I took over was actually doing the emoluments. I have to say that the I hope to have a lot of loyal clients. Well, actually, I was a bit disappointed because 70% of my clients left. So that was also a very big bummer and really hurt me financially. But that happens. That's when you start changing things, people leave. That's also something that you always have to take. If you change things, people who are used to things sometimes decide to leave because they don't find what they were having anymore. Second thing I did, I started to change Excel into cloud. So normally My mom couldn't tell how many clients she had because she only sold cards. She never put it on an Excel file. I started to do it on Excel, but I saw that this is not working. We need to have a more bigger system. So I looked on the markets, in my case, the gym market, to a product, a platform, cloud-based. Why cloud-based? Because you are mobile. With cloud, you can work everywhere in the world. So be mobile is very important in that mindset. And I actually found it in the way of virtual gym. And you put all your clients inside, your facturation is there, and it was like a charm for me because I had less work, but I could actually manage more. I had more sites, I could more analyze. Unfortunately, on the family facts, I had to close my business because I didn't have to close, but actually they went to court, my brother, my sister, and my mother. Why? Because they want to close the business. So this uncertainty made me very sad, but I had to go through because I had a dream and I was making an actually automated fitness gym. Then 2017, my mom died. And then when she died, actually it relieved me. And I put an automated system in my gym. I looked to market for something that was good enough because big chains have these things, but it doesn't existed yet for small gyms. So in 2016, I found actually an independent worker could make it for me at a reasonable price, and I did it. I also put automatic lights, and I was open 7 on 7. And I was the first in the surrounding that was 7 on 7 open. And I also didn't have to hire people because as a small business, you don't have to hire, you have no money to hire a lot of people. So if you understand, at that moment, 2017, you had actually elements, you had actually a cloud system, and the gym was open 7 on 7 automatically. If I was even sleeping in the morning, for example, sleeping out at 9 o'clock, my gym was already open at 7. People could enter with their badges and just go there. So, for example, if I was sick, worst case scenario, the owner is sick, then I even can get money. The revenue income is important. So that's why I decided to put that system. Even when I'm sick, even when I'm on holiday, I still have money. Because with that money, you invest, you grow. That's very important to understand. Good. In 2018, I had an automatic check-in system. So then I could actually track who was coming and who was not coming. So I actually could take initiative on really calling people if they don't come to try to motivate them. Otherwise, I could also reward people who are coming more, or I can do challenges, etc., etc. So I could really play with the data, and it is something very interesting. Data analysis is one of the skills that you really have to have. If you start with automatization or online, you have to be able to analyze data and act because those data will tell you a lot of the behavior of people, what they like or what they don't like. Then in 2018, I lost my court case, and at that moment, I actually had to possibly, if my brother and my sister, because my mom died in 2017, of course, actually I could be in closure in 10 days. They could close me in 10 days. So you can imagine if now you're locked down, but let's say that at that moment that you have a flourishing business, if somebody tells you, hey, we have something that's officially we can close you in 10 days, that's really, really hard. And certainly it's even more hard if it's your own family. But it is life. This is life, like this lockdown now, coronavirus, it's fucking life. Cannot do anything about it. It is life. So you have to metabolize it. You have to take the crisis actions. You have to see what can you do now, what can we do, and which action we will take. But it is what it is. Then in 2019, I started a web shop. Why? Easy, because I said, look, selling my products, that's nice, but I always have the time in selling the products if somebody comes. What if somebody is already convinced and just want to buy? So I made a complete web shop connected to my platform, and now people could just buy themselves. They were registered, I got the money on my account, I didn't have to do any effort anymore in the sales process because they were already convinced. I only had the cases if people were doubting or needed some more explanation. So you can actually, because your time as entrepreneur is more valuable to focus on where you can really make a difference. Because a lot of people, certainly if they have a small business, they like to waste their time on small things who are not important. So try to also analyze yourself. If you say, hey, I can save time by actually automating one part of my tasks, and I can focus where I can make the difference and financially make the difference, that is the right way. And then 13th of March, I was closed. So what do? Well, first you say, shit. Second thing is, okay, what can I do? And then I took my crisis actions, like I just told you. I focused on the facts, not on the feelings. I make a list. I decide what I will do. And then I took action. And in 2 weeks' time, so I worked 12, 14 hours a day. I just was learning, I was making it, and now I have a full 100% online business. So what I do is actually very simple. Personal training, challenges, webinars, very easy, but you can do them 100% online. So that is actually the story of my automatization and going online. So personally, I think that if you didn't do it yet, you should do it right now, because this is the time. Now you have the time for it. Now you have the possibilities. It is the future anyway. My idea was to have 2 businesses at the end of the Corona time. So that means actually more profit. And this is actually exactly what it is. Anastasia, I see that you're back in screen.
Yes, Peter, we have a question, but I don't know if you are already ready for the questions or not.
Yes, it's about describe your automatic gym in details, right?
Yes.
Of Vitaly, yeah. I think I already did it a bit, but maybe once more explanation, I don't know. Martin says, thank you very much for the interesting story. Well, I'm not finished because I have here a paper of, wait, you don't see it very well, but with all the problems that I had, because the story I tell you sounds easy and easygoing, but it's not, because you will face many problems, questions, and I will, if you don't mind, Anastasia, to give them a few problems.
Sure. We are happy to hear you, Peter. That's
No problem, because I want to help you. I experienced this myself, and if you have this knowledge, you will grow faster. And that is actually what we're doing with JCI, our network. We teach each other to grow faster. So the first problem I had was nobody is doing it yet. Why should you? Because indeed, in the mind, a lot of thoughts are playing, and you want something automatic. You're the first one. Nobody's doing it. Why should you do it? So that's a very, very good question you have to ask yourself. Why should I do it? Second, in the beginning, nobody will understand you. Nobody will understand the value. Why? Because they're not used to it. Don't let yourself drive from the path if they don't understand it. Just explain and try to, and what happened in my case, I explained to my members where we were going. Like, what if you could train 7-on-7? What if you could train on the moment that you want to train? Because then in that feeling, in that story, you take them from A, where you are now offline, to the online. And they will even give you tips and tricks. Oh yeah, we could do this, or we could do that. That's interesting feedback that you can have to grow. Third problem, if you want to go fast, you can also go too fast. For example, when I had my platform, I was using one or two things, and even 6 months, a year later, I only discovered what you could do more. If I only had taken the time to really say, okay, now 2 months, I'm going to study this full program, what it can and what it can't, I would have gone faster. But I was too impatient, and I just went to one, two things and bam. So it's very important, take your time to understand what you have, because maybe it can do more than what you thought it could. Third, it's very important. Fourth, it's very important if you have a vision. You have to picture yourself where you want to go to your online. See, so it's very important that you have a vision. For example, I started when I have my closure of my business, I want to have two businesses. It's a vision because that vision will take you if you have an obstacle. Okay? So that's very important. Pausing. Sometimes you talk with people or people will say what you're doing. Well, hey, slow down. Don't take it too hard. No, don't pause, because if you pause, if you stop moving, you will stop developing. So you have to be mobile. You have to be in action. Act now is always act and continuous action, because then you still learn and your business grows. Because the more you learn, the, the better it grows. It's that simple. So pausing, that doesn't mean that you cannot have a drink with your friends or you cannot go to a JCI Congress. It just means that you still keep on doing, that you have, I will do this next, I will do this next, I will do this next, that you have, keep on progressing. And then sometimes, if you maybe have a team, they don't understand you. No, he's doing this again or that again. These are the thoughts that team members have. And then it's very important that you take your team and you tell your story, your dream, your vision, where you're going with your team. Okay? Because, and also go for their benefits. It's very important that they understand what this new way or this new situation will benefit for them. Maybe they have more flexible hours. Maybe they can be more with their family, or maybe they can work from home. You see? Because everybody's clock is ticking differently. Everybody wants something else. And so it's very engaging and very motivating to have your team also in this, because they can also tell your vision, your story to the clients or members or other business partners. So take your team and share it, share your team, your vision. Voilà. Anastasia, I finished here.
Great. Thank you so much. We learned a lot of interesting things from you, Peter. Thank you so much. Now we have some more questions. If you could just answer first to Vitaly's questions regarding describing your automatic gym in details. I believe that here probably Vitaly means also the digital tools you are using. So if you could give some more details about that.
Yeah. First, for an automatic gym, well, you need an entrance system that connects with your RFID card. I think he wants to understand more about technical stuff, right? So you need an RFID card, that can read actually the person's identity, and that is connected to my software system. So on that card, we put two things, because actually I had two systems, two separate, not one combined. Why? If there is a failure, energy failure, or something else, my clients always could enter. So for example, if my cloud system was going down because there was no electricity, and that happened, it happened to me, then people can still come to the gym. See, so I really separated them. So I had an RFID card, which actually I wrote something for the entrance system and for the cloud system. So in that one card, I could actually have both. The lights, it's very simple. You just ask an electrician who has actually a timer-wise little thing. It's very simple. And he connects it with all the wires of your electricity system. And you just ask, he will ask what time it has to open and has to close. So that was very easy to do. Is that a bit what's the answer a bit?
Yes, we have a comment from Vitaly. He thanks you, Peter, for clarifying the automatic gym process. And he has one more question regarding your current online platform. Could you please name the ways of monetization and revenue for your platform?
Well, that's a good question, because in that way, like I said, I just created it 2 weeks ago. Actually, I'm very angry at myself that I didn't do it earlier. But like I said, pausing. So pausing fucked me up in this situation. So I'm not ready at this moment monetizing it. But what I'm doing right now is actually to hire an expert is used to monetize that kind of content. So he's actually a personal trainer, helping people like me in the health or in the business of personal training to go online and sell them. So in that moment, I would say, of course, there are many platforms, but you have to know how to use them, how you use Instagram, how you attract people. I study so much now in online marketing, but I can tell you I'm not a master in it yet right now. So Vitaly, maybe in 6 months I will tell you everything about it. But now at this moment I cannot. I'm still learning myself. This is how it goes.
Thank you, Peter.
So,
one more question from Artyom. He asks you if you have any plans how to save turnover of your raising online business after Corona time.
What does he mean with that? Because for me, it's not so very clear.
Artyom, could you unmute yourself and probably to comment on your question, please?
After Corona time, I think people will use less online services, also online gym. And do you have some plans how to save these people on your online services? Maybe provide them some discounts or anything else?
Yeah, okay. Yes, I understand you, Artem.
Okay.
Artem, you say how you get your regular clients into online or get new clients. Well, the thing is, I did my thinking too, and my current members are completely not interested in online. And that's why that's actually with the problem. Number two is actually nobody will understand the value. Why? Because my members are completely not used in online trainings. They think online is for free, YouTube wise. Understand? Because on YouTube they see a lot of free videos and etc. Of course, it is bullshit. I also see a question: is the price the same for online and offline trainings? I would say yes. Why? Because it's not the training or the measurement that you're actually using. This is your expertise that is actually valuable. But before that, I actually thought about the fact that At this moment, my current clients don't know the value of online, and I don't have the time right now to convince them. So I see my current clients not as my online clients. I see online clients as a whole new market, as people who understand, as people like you who understand to watch a webinar and learn something. You see? So if you just put the regular clients away and you think about, wow, I have a new market, then you can actually start to focus on segmentation. What kind of people could be interested in my online training, offline training? Because personally, I found it very difficult if you start with discounts. Why? Because it means actually that your value is low. You can do discounts if, for example, you sell a package. That's okay. But for example, if you start, let's say with 50% discount on online training, try to get that client back on 100%. See? So it's very important that value-wise, that you actually keep your value and start with one who's convinced, and then you will find another one. But don't sell yourself short. If you sell yourself short, and of course there will be many trainers who will actually give things away. For example, yeah, but at the end, if you're, for example, a personal trainer like me, you calculate your time, the value of your time, so you want to have money for that. But a solution maybe can be if you, for example, do a group session. If you say I do, that's why I also invented is like a group session, but could be with 20, 30, 40 people at the same time. Then you can actually have a very low price because you're actually targeting the mass. But as a trainer, as a business owner, as a service provider, don't put your value down because afterwards you have more difficulties to explain why you want to raise the price. Is that clear?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. Yes, that is clear. May I ask you one question from me? After you have started your online business, did you face any other competitors who also started their business online during these 2 weeks or not yet?
Well, of course, you have to know that there is already a lot of competition in the personal training and video offers. And because it's online, you have worldwide competition. That's for sure. So that means actually, and referring back to that monetization, these guys have more knowledge or more ways and are more successful than you are, just as a beginner. And they were a beginner, they were also trying and doing. So that's why I said I hire an expert because you cannot win. You don't have the time to go 1 year, try to everything. You have to need this expert who has the knowledge to get you faster on what you are. The first thing this guy said, look, on the online business markets, there is a lot of competition. The way to succeed is to be smaller. I mean, like to focus on one group, on one target group market. Because specialization, it's like in everything, will make a difference. If you're an expert, for example, in moms between 30 and 35 with 2 children and really want to lose weight, then you're the expert. So that's just the first thing that is, and of course it's kind of crazy because commercially you say, what, only that small group? I will never have clients. It doesn't work like that because people give more value to an expert than somebody who can work with children and with elderly people and with everybody, whatever. So, because a generalist cannot have all the knowledge unless he's every day studying. and then he's not giving trainings. So if you are also in a very online market, yeah, it's very competitive, and it will be even more competitive. And that guy of my advice was to specialize, to stand out in the crowd. Maybe I can give you a little tip. There is something like a red ocean and a blue ocean, and search it online, and you will understand. In the red ocean, everybody is fighting against each other. In the blue ocean, everybody is in his own niche market segment. Is that an answer on your question, Anastasia?
Yes, thank you so much. Out of curiosity, one more question. Do you have any age restriction for accessing your online gym? I mean, can a person of, let's say, 15 years old or 90 years old access your training? So you have a certain age restriction?
Well, it depends if I'm focusing on that age, of course. But it's like the same thing with now. You're calling me, I'm in Belgium, you're in St-Petersburg, Russia. There are no borders. So actually, I can also train babies now, I think. So there's no age restriction. If you want to focus on young adults, then you can do that. If you want to focus on 65 plus, you can do that. Of course, you have an expertise. It means actually you're online wise. If yeah, what my restrictions are is very simple. If you have a bad back, a really bad back, if you are having really issues with your knees, uh, then really somebody has to stand next to you, because I cannot see from the camera how you react very well, or I cannot sustain you if it needed. So of course, this online has also limitations. If you're actually going for that, that means actually you can, in my eyes, only work with people who are kind of normal fit. If you have like medical issues or revalidations, yeah, then you really need somebody next to you. That's my professional advice.
Thank you so much, Peter. Does anyone have any questions to Peter right now? Or should we ask him to give us some recommendations during the coronavirus?
Oh, I just have one question. It's Evgeny.
Sure, Evgeny.
Yeah. Hello, Peter. What do you think about future of fitness and gym online? What do you think? Can it survive after coronavirus if you will continue to build business online?
Eugen, I can only say that, like I said in my story, I'm creating a second business. That means actually this business is going to stay. You have to think differently. Um, at this moment, a lot of people are getting used to see webinars or work from home, or actually like this one, using Zoom. You see? So you don't have to convince people anymore of the value of a screen, because they're used to it. In my opinion, I think that a small gym like mine can just expand. Yeah, no, I always thought like, why should actually I limit myself between my four walls? Why I cannot actually deliver to the world? And this online is exactly what it can be. And even my current members can go for an online and offline package after the crisis. Some don't need so much assistance or physical assistance. Some just need a scheme and a follow-up one time a week. And you just can call. Currently, I'm having a guy. I just see him by Facebook. I do my exercises. He does the exercise. I check everything okay. And he sends me a video once in a while to have a check. And that's okay for him. It works like him. He pays me the same money as I would stand next to him. And for him, it's very important that just somebody is guiding him. He has questions. I'm his pillar of security, of trust. I'm the expert, and he does it, and he has results. So yes, Eugen, online is going to stay. And if you still have to convince yourself, think about, okay, why I'm actually not thinking that online would stay. Because it has so many advantages. It can actually have an extra value on your offline situation. Maybe I didn't tell you about, but that Virtual Gym software cloud system has also an app. And with that app, people can do exercises home. It has a database of around 3,000 exercises. You see?
Mhm.
So it's very important that you understand that the mobility of knowledge is everywhere. So yes, I'm convinced that online will stay. For sure now is here to stay even after Corona.
Thank you, Peter.
Great, Peter. Thank you so much. We have one more question. The question is from Mariana, and she's asking if you have a team and how did your team members come to your business?
At this moment, or
I suppose she's referring to online business.
okay. Well, I'm very lucky. I have a nice team. First, I have my wife as a team member. She joined in since January. She's mostly doing the financial part. I'm more the creative guy, which you understand. So, but of course, she works from home, so that's not a big issue. And at the moment, I also have, by accident, 3 interns who actually are working for me. They are sent by school. And because of coronavirus, they're now making videos. So we have actually a closed group of the gym, and they're making regular videos with toilet paper. Because in Belgium, maybe you heard the story, but people were buying lots of toilet paper. So so we're just making funny workouts with that. And they're doing really great job. We already agreed that afterwards they're still going to work for me because they're really, really good. So I was very lucky. In my team, there's also a physio, but he had to close business. But unfortunately, I could not motivate him to be in action. He's in his head. He sees that he doesn't have income, and yeah, it's that's why I say keep on the facts. Don't go with the feelings, because if you go on the feelings, then you will experience fear, and then then you lose time. So last 2 weeks, I tried to contact him to work together to build together that online story, because he's also a personal trainer, and he didn't do anything. So yeah, sometimes you can yeah, you learn to know people how they are in crisis times. So that's why. But like I say, I have my students, I have my wife, so that goes very well. And also supporting family, because I work 12, 14 hours a day. I was never home. So, and I was actually also in a kind of quarantine because I came from Estonia. At the moment that my business had to close, I was at a beautiful JCI academy. I can recommend the CUC Academy. But more details I will send you later if you want.
Yes, please, Peter. We have one more question from Elena. Well, basically, it is not a question. She's asking to give the links to your business projects. Could you please share with us your website, probably, or application, or
Yeah,
maybe
of
a group at
course.
Facebook? Oh, Elena is commenting that she was a trainer in the academy.
Ah, great. And the CUC?
Yes.
Ah, very nice. I really enjoyed it.
Well, also we have one more question from Mariana. She's asking, do you do the business part and the sport training part too?
You do the business part and the sport training part too. She means if I do everything, I guess, right?
Yes. If you are
Yeah.
also working as a personal trainer, she means.
Yeah. Indeed, yes. But I have a preference. Actually, I like more to develop things than being the trainer myself. Even I like to work with people who are motivated because I'm myself motivated to reach things. I became also personal trainer because I have to. It means actually that I took over a business. I wasn't qualified to be a personal trainer, and I got my degree. I learned very, very fast, and then I got a lot of experience. So I have good results with my people, but of course, it is a forced choice. So that's why I like to work with other people because I also like to develop things. And maybe I can show you one thing that I'm also working on. It's a passion of mine. And here we are. This is actually my newest JCI project. It's called Change Your Game, and it's all kind of webinars that we are offering about for people who actually are in doubt about what happens after Corona crisis. So after my transformation of my business, I needed another project because I was a bit full. So I created this one, and we have actually very nationwide speakers talking about will I have a job? How I will prepare for the job of the future? Can I save my business financially? And we're talking about what about my money? So I will also give the link for that. It's the first speaker is English, so you can actually also join even from Russia to that event. Voila. Because of course, all the things I'm saying and doing, I would never done if I was not passionate about it. So if I didn't like it to transform my business, then I would never done it. And also this little fellow here, this chameleon, is actually be a chameleon at this time because we all have to be a chameleon. So little promotion for my GCI project.
Yes, in our changing world, we should adapt to the changes for sure.
Yeah.
It's a great example. Well, we as JCI St-Petersburg, we also have a series of webinars with experts and on different topics. Great, Peter. Could you please paste the links to the chat so that people could save them to your?
Of course, no problem. Yeah.
I will also share our St. Petersburg links for those who do not know them and who want to join us. Peter, thank you so much for your great speech. It was really inspirational. If someone has some more questions, you can ask Peter now. Now, Peter, as I remember, you wanted to tell us a few words, maybe spend 3 to 5 minutes about coronavirus, how people were facing it in Brussels and in Belgium. That would be great if you could share your experience because it's just starting in Russia and we are in quarantine.
Yeah, it's very important. I really want to mention this guy because in the beginning people were laughing with the coronavirus in Belgium, in Italy, everywhere. It will be a little flu, doesn't matter. But it's not. You have to know actually I started creating online videos the week before we had to go in lockdown. And when I was interviewed by a reporter, he said, yeah, this is a big PR stunt, right? And I said, it is not. So because I said I will offer online fitness or exercises for people of members who are in quarantine. So this guy was laughing at me. He said, yeah, that's very nice found that you give this online classes. But I said this will be reality. And yeah, a week later it was quarantine. So And that is actually I want to give you the situation. Why? Because I have very good connections with Italy, and I saw that in the beginning in Italy people were just walking around, and it will not be that bad. But you see now, Italy, they're already like 10,000 dead, and that's the big problem. Um, but I want to actually face you and not to worry you, but why it's very important for a lockdown and to avoid contact. Because this is not a crisis about the virus, this is about a healthcare crisis. And I don't know if I can, maybe I can show you. No, because I had actually a very nice picture, and it's called like flatten the curve. Because if you have a virus, it goes completely up straight away, and then your hospitals have a problem because they don't have enough beds, they don't have enough equipment to breed people, and they have also not enough mouth masks. So, for example, your grandmother or your grandfather is in the hospital and there is not enough equipment, the caretaker will have to make a decision and not taking hours, but in a split second, decide who's going to survive or not, who's going to be helped or not. And that is the biggest issue about this virus. It's not about the virus itself, it's about the choice that caretakers have to make who will survive or not, because there is not enough equipment. And in Belgium, I can actually mention one case. Somebody of 90 years old said, I don't want the equipment, give it to the young people because they have still a life ahead. I finished. And indeed, that woman died. So don't panic about the virus, but also don't do if you're young or whatever, that it cannot hit you because it can hit everybody. In Belgium, somebody of 12 died, somebody of 39 died. It can always. So please, and that's what I want to give you away, is that um, do avoid contact. So the caretakers don't have never in Russia to make that decision who's going to live or die. Because the people who die alone. They cannot have contact with their family anymore. So can you imagine that if you're there on the bed and you're there alone and you can almost not breathe anymore? That is a situation that many old people who have COVID-19 are experiencing right now. And that's why we have to stay home and avoid human contact so this virus doesn't spread. So we have still enough equipment to help everybody, that we never have to make the decision who will live or who has to die. Voilà, that was my little information.
Yes, guys, it's very important for us to stay conscious and to stay healthy and to keep our dear ones away from the virus. So let's follow what Peter advised us, and we will certainly bring everyone to the happy and healthy life. Now, what I wanted to tell you one more time to inform you that you can check our posts in Facebook and in other social media, in Instagram and Contact, for the other webinars that we will have later on with another speakers and another topics. And we want to thank you very much, Peter, for a great speech and great webinar. Thank you very much, Peter. Let's applaud. It was really.
Thank you, Peter.
I hear 13 people clapping right now.
Yes, but the microphone turned off.
Uh,
Thank you so much, Peter. It was very, as Anastasia mentioned, it was very inspirational speech regarding your experience and your gym and online platform. I know that for some participants of the webinar, it was very useful already. I have some feedback. So that's you make an impact. Thank you, Peter, for what are you doing in JCI and in your own business. That's a very significant impact. Thank you very much, Peter.
And this is great that we in JCI have an opportunity to be in contact with such great people as Peter and to meet them during JCI events. That's a great advantage of being a part of JCI community. I am really thankful for that. That's
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. And let's work together. If you need some help from Belgium, information, we're always willing to help here. And my contacts will be also in the context of St. Petersburg. So you can, if you have personal questions, you can always contact me. Well,
Absolutely the same from our side. If you need some context help or some opportunities in Russia or St. Petersburg, you can always contact me or Anastasia or anyone from our chapter. Everyone will help you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Vitaly. Thank you, everyone, for participating. And enjoy your day.
Thank you.
yeah, bye.
Thank you. Bye.